One of my biggest successes this year has been composting. I have become, let me say, just a bit of a compost queen, and I love composting because it's so useful, so nutritional for the garden, and it's a great way to recycle your garden waste and your kitchen scraps. So in here, this one will be ready. It's going to get another turn, but in here I have a great, this is my latest compost pile. I must have generated near on probably 200 pounds of compost this year. So this will be for next season. All I need to do is make sure I turn it and water it to gain great compost. But we're now in the main garden where our trees, our fruit trees, fruit trees are. This is the faithful breadfruit, and with the rain, we've had some significant rain over the past few weeks. We're actually in hurricane season, so the rain is very, very welcome, and that has resulted in us actually getting breadfruit, some beautiful breadfruit off these trees. So you can't really see, there's nothing ready to pick just yet because we've picked most of them. Actually, I think there's one down here that's a bit low down. So keep watching that. This is a baby one. It's a baby breadfruit, so it's nowhere near ready, but we'll just keep an eye on it, and hopefully we get to it before anything else does. The other tree we're carefully keeping an eye on, because we've just never had anything from it since we've had it, is the custard apple. Again, it's a very flourishing tree. We've never had fruit on it. We've seen some flowers. Not sure if it's been overshadowed by some of the other trees, because obviously it's quite a lot of trees in this area now. One thing to realise is that when you're planting trees, is to remember how big potentially they can get. It's something we never gave much consideration to, and now we're seeing the impact of that. So the custard apple is here. The Barbados cherry is going great guns, and again, it's a much bigger tree than we thought it would be. The one thing we have done with it to kind of keep it manageable is pretty much make it as a canopy. So I need to cut this back again a little bit, but under here makes a great shade. It's great shading. See, so we've got a couple of chairs and stuff under here, and may landscape a little bit under the bottom, so it's a bit more comfortable. It's a place we can actually sit and watch the world go by, but it does make great shade. It has flowered. We have had some cherries, but again, not being very familiar with the fruit sometimes, Barbados cherry is very sour, so it really is whether you like it or not, love it or loathe it, should I say, type of fruit. All that, it's highly nutritious, one of the highest plants that I think it has vitamin C. So as sour as it is as good as it is. Bitter orange, remember I said about remembering what your trees do? We thought this was going to be a lime tree, but it's actually a bitter orange tree, and for the first time it started bearing a significant amount of fruit. But again, it's not fruit you can eat. Incredibly sour. So apparently people use it as astringent, and maybe used for cleaning and stuff like that. So I'm still researching what we can do with this, but if you have any ideas, let me know. A new addition to the garden is our soursop tree. This was originally growing in a container, but it wasn't thriving, so it had to come out here. I love soursop. You can smell it in the leaves when you prick the leaves. So I'm not sure when this will start bearing, but it's thriving right now, so we're happy with that. Just got to keep an eye on it, making sure it's getting lots of new leaves and new growth. But yes, it's definitely caught itself out here. Avocado. This is the avocado tree, and it's very well established. I think we've only ever had avocado off it once, and it's probably one or two avocados. Okay, Foxy, probably one or two avocados. So, but we keep nurturing it. We were novices when we planted these trees, so we weren't too cognizant or informed about how to grow these trees, but it's thriving. It's providing cover, and we'll see. We're quietly optimistic we'll start getting avocados shortly. So let's take a walk over to the rest of the garden. A bush that thrives very well out here is the pomegranates, and I can see a few pomegranates that will soon be ready to pick. I need to get to them before they split or the birds get them. I may actually put some netting over these actually, just to protect them, because that's the other thing. It's just really us keeping ahead, or keeping one step ahead of the pests, and that includes the birds, the rats, even the dogs. They have a penchant for fruit. We found that out to our detriment. Over here we have our papaya tree. We did get our first papaya this year, which was very, very nice. Look carefully, it's starting to flower. It's definitely starting to flower. So again, it had a bit of a rough start, but the rain that we've had, all the rain we've had over the past couple of weeks, has really, really helped it, and we should get papaya again this year. This is our sugar apple tree, and you will see that I have started netting the fruit, and this is definitely very attractive to the birds. It's very attractive to the dogs. We're already seeing some sugar apple, unripe sugar apple, across the garden. So I've started covering up some of the fruit to at least give us a chance. I don't mind sharing, but you really need to leave us something as well. So we'll be keeping an eye on this, with regular watering, making sure it's not diseased. It did have a fungal disease last year. It seems to have cleared up on that. So we're just waiting for the fruit, probably around November, 4 or 5 weeks again before we start getting some decent fruit. Though I've seen other gardens are starting to have some nice, definite nice custard apple been fruiting. So this is our fig, and as you can see, we are actually bearing fruit. I'm not quite sure when to pick it. This is starting to get brown. I'm wondering if I should pick it now. I'm going to check whether I can ripen it off the branch, because one of the things I don't want to do again is lose the fruit to the dogs or to the other pests. We've got a little bit of rust on here, I can see, so I'm going to have to be spraying that, treating it. But this has started again to really pick up and start to give us fruit, and it gives fruit on the new growth. So it's imperative we keep it healthy, we feed it, water it, nurture it. The star producer of the garden has been the passion fruit. It's gave us a lot of fruit this year. We have to give it a bit of a tidy. It does need some tidying up because it wants to fruit again. But these last about, they think they have a shelf life, or say a growth life, about 7 years. It's probably about, you can't see it all here, but it stretches about 20 foot across the garden, if not a bit more, from the one plant. So it's a very productive plant. As you can see, it goes all the way round the fencing, provides us a lot of coverage. So yeah, that's and fruit. So we've just had to make sure we keep on top of it. Does need a bit of a tidy, as I said, but it's very, very productive. The last thing we're growing this year, or the new addition to the garden this year, is sorrel, or Jamaican roselle. I tried growing it in a different part of the garden. It was far too shaded. I tend not to use this side of the garden very much because of the dogs. It's not protected by the dogs, so hence why you see all the caging. But it is an ideal spot for this because it needs plenty of sun. So we've got 3 roselle bushes here, so we can have some sorrel, and hopefully by Christmas we'll get some sorrel. They're part of the hibiscus family, so you'll see the flowers look very similar to those of okra, and they're very, very pretty. So once these are established, and I think that they're sturdy enough not to be damaged by the dogs, I'll be taking the cages off so they've got space to grow. So that's it for our entire garden. I hope you've enjoyed the walk with us. Let us know what you're growing in your garden, any ideas on how we can improve what we're doing in our garden. Remember, we're learning as we grow. Drop your comments, make sure you subscribe so you can make sure you don't miss any videos, or follow us on Instagram, Caribbean Garden Live, so you can get daily updates. Until next time, happy gardening.